Welcome everyone to this very special episode of Turd Talk, where we skip over the good and get straight to the bad and ugly. My name is Susan Kit Higgs, and I'm here today with my guest, Mr. Charlie Guerra. How are you doing today, Charlie?
I'm good, thank you.
Charlie's a film major at the Art Institute, working towards his bachelor's degree. And like me, he's seen a lot of movies, some good and some bad. This show being Turd Talk, we're obviously here to talk about the bad, but more specifically, the worst. So tell me, Charlie, what in your opinion is the worst film ever made?
Well, next to The Room, it would probably be Florida Project.
Florida Project.
Yeah.
How did you hear about the Florida Project? And what were your expectations going into it?
I actually, I heard it at one of my classes. We were supposed to go see it as a class project. We all went together and we went to see it. And my expectations were really set high. Supposedly the movie got really good reviews and everything, but into the first 5 minutes of the movie, it kind of went out the window. I hated it. I really wanted to walk out, but since it was a class project, I had to sit through the whole thing.
So it didn't meet your expectations at all?
Not at all. Not at all.
What is the intended message of this film, and do you think it measured up to it?
Well, I think the intended message from people I spoke with said, well, it's, being that Disney World is such a beautiful place and it's like a dreamland and everything, and right outside its doors, its gates, you have all this poverty and people living in, these very bad conditions and everything. To me personally, that really didn't make sense because, first of all, Disney World Disney World's really an amusement park. We don't live there, so and this happens all across the nation. There's people living next to neighborhoods where people have millions and they live. So to me, it would have made more sense to make a movie about that than Disney World.
So what do other people think about this film, and do you think they deserve that criticism?
Well, like I said, it got a lot of good reviews from other people. But personally, when I saw it, I thought it was more like a reality show than a movie. To me, it really didn't have a script line or a plot or anything like that. So to me, it was more like a reality show.
What would you personally done if you were on the cast of the movie or whatever to fix it? How would you improve?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't have done what the director did, which he directed, he edited, he did the cinematography. He was involved in every aspect of it. I wouldn't have done that. In the film business, usually you take on one job and one goal, and you delegate jobs to other people, editors and cinematographers, and let them do their part. I think that was one of the biggest mistakes, trying to do all the jobs all at the same time. That's one of the biggest mistakes. I would have done it that way. I would have just directed it or been cinematographer, let somebody else direct. Because also, if you look at the movie, it's in the perspective, since he did everything, it's in the perspective of his vision. As opposed to having an editor that might say, well, what if we do this? Now you've got the vision of another person. Or a cinematographer says, what if we do this shot or do this instead? Then you've got the vision of another person. I think it would have reached out to a broader audience if it would have been done that way.
Okay. And what would you tell the director if he was watching this broadcast?
If he was watching this broadcast, I'd tell him to definitely stick to one thing. Don't do different ones.
Okay. And that about sums it up. This concludes today's episode of Turd Talk. Thank you, Charlie, for being here today, and to our amazing and loyal audience for tuning in. Next week on the show, we'll have none other than the master of horror literature, the legendary author himself, Stephen King, where he punches me in the face for calling The Shining the greatest horror film ever made. You definitely don't want to miss that. Thank you once again, everyone. I'm Susan Kit Higgs, and I'll see you guys next time.